Alrighty, welcome to another edition of Superkickin with Steven. That's right, Superkick with Steven, December 4th, 2022. Happy to be here. I'm going to be riding solo today. Greg is on a different work schedule today, so he could not make it tonight. But we'll go forge ahead, and I'll kind of give you my lowdown on everything that happened in the week that was for wrestling. And we will be in touch soon about a year-end special. Probably go here at 6 o'clock if we can on Sunday, just because that's when we've been doing it. But if that changes, we'll let you guys know. December could be kind of crazy. Christmas Eve is on a Sunday, or I think actually Christmas Day. I can't remember. Either way, so that Sunday might be kind of tricky. And then I believe New Year's Eve is on a Sunday. So we'll kind of go from there and see where things are going. First, I got to give a big shout out. I got to stand up to do this to give a new and improved tattoo right here. So this is Triple H giving the pedigree to Stone Cold Steve Austin. Thank you to our friends at Revved Up Tattoos for doing it. That artist that I got my tattoo done with was named Binks. So if you're in the Indianapolis area, so I have Stone Cold Steve Austin over here giving Triple H a stunner. So I decided to give Triple H with Stone Cold. So definitely get in touch with Revved Up Tattoos here in the Indianapolis area and let them know BWSPORTS sent you. And that really helps us out with our sponsorship with them. So if you're in the area, I got in. He already had it sketched up. They were good about emailing me back and forth and telling where I wanted it and what the location was going to be and how big it would be. And then he marked it up, got it placed, and we were off and running. And probably in and out in about an hour and a half-ish, if that. So, schedule your appointment now with Revved Up Tattoos and go give them some love. Let's get right into the news. At first, it was being reported that William Regal had a long-term deal with AEW. But as of Wednesday night, he got knocked out cold in the back of the head by MJF, which of course means he is headed off to WWE. Probably a backstage role. Don't know if he'll get an on-screen camera role. I think his time in AEW was fine. The BCC, Blackpool Combat Club. Could they have been used a little bit better at times? Probably. They were just a collection of talent. I think that, there's almost maybe too much talent there. And maybe not always knowing the right way to use them. But he will head back to WWE here probably after the new year. Get him some time off TV for a little bit. Let him, go home for the holidays and kind of get his mindset for, I'm going to assume, probably back helping NXT. I think he would be a good role down there and even helping on the main roster. I think wherever they use him backstage is fine. And probably a limited on-screen role like he did before, I think was great too. So the other bit of news, I didn't know how to get this into our Smackdown review. Lacey Evans is being repackaged yet again, and it just, I just don't know. I think the train has sailed on her. This is going to be a return to basic Lacey Evans. I mean, they tried the hero before, and it wasn't working, so I don't know what this is going to do for her. So, it was she was back in the Army basic training type deal. I think they're going to try the Army route, really delving into that. I don't think she'll go heel yet, but I don't think the crowd is going to react the way they think they will. So it's going to be interesting to see. It's one of those things, you're trying it, I guess. I mean, I feel like there's only so many dimensions with her right now. You either do the Southern Belle or, you kind of do the anti-heel, or you kind of do the heel where, she hates America type stuff. I just don't know what they could do with her right now. So that was kind of the big news I had this week. Let's get into a quick commercial break so we can kind of let things settle there. And we'll get right back into it for a Raw, NXT, and Smackdown talk, really. Alrighty, so let's get some Raw talk started. I'm a sucker for a good brawl at the beginning of the show, a good, kind of backstage, just ass kicking segment, and that's what happened here. Becky Lynch kind of spilled into some action with Damage Control, which spilled into the merch table area. We're still kind of going with Becky Lynch and Bailey and Damage Control, so I think that's a good kind of, brawl for that. And now we've added, on the SmackDown side, we'll talk about Tegan Nox and Liv Morgan. You wonder if maybe Liv Morgan, Becky Lynch, and Tegan Nox will kind of all team up against Damage Control now. So I love the beginning of Raw. We kind of went to Rhea Ripley and Mia Yim. That's ended in no contest because you had all the other auxiliary pieces, which was Judgment Day and the OC. Judgment Day pick up a good win. I saw a little interview with Finn Balor. He said, at first he wasn't sure about Dominic joining him, but he's got heat on him. And so when the crowd reacts to him, that helps Finn, he said. And Damian Priest kind of build up their heat as well, really dig into the crowd. So interesting that, kind of put there. The latest I'm reading on Dominic is it's going to be Dominic and Damian Priest against Rey Mysterio and Bad Bunny, and possibly Bad Bunny stepping in to fight for Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio said he doesn't want to fight his son until he's ready to hang it up. So, I guess if we get Bad Bunny and Dominique, that could be something to have Rey Mysterio kind of there at the outside. But I really think, I know it's your son. Vince wrestled his son a few times. I mean, you've got to think Ray knows the business. I guess, you do have those nerves about, injuring him or something like that. But you got to think, too, the best matchup for Dominic at WrestleMania is Rey Mysterio. So I'll be very curious if we go to that. Kevin Owens, what about that segment? This is, we keep saying it. We keep preaching it. We keep harping on it. When this thing finally blows up on Sami Zayn and you see the reunion between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, now that you have Kevin Owens saying, I don't want anything to do with you. You're throwing everything away. When he has to make that save, it's going to be such a conflicting interest, but it's going to be such a big pop when that happens. And, that segment really is going to hammer home what this, whole bloodline, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens feud will all come ahead to. So Kevin Owens also defeated Jey Uso at the end of the night in the main event. So good job on that. Street Profits were back. They got a big win over Alpha Academy. Seth Rollins and Austin Theory put on a pretty strong promo together, calling him kid and then, saying he's a man and all this. I don't know where it goes for Seth Rollins. He just won the title and then loses it. I do think, there should be a bigger idea for Seth Rollins, but, he's kind of in this gatekeeper. He's kind of like the Ciampa mode. Tommaso Ciampa was there, kind of helping get guys over in NXT for a bit. And I think that's what Seth Rollins is really digging into. And I think Seth wants to do that. So that's a perfectly good fit for him. Dexter Lumis, finally, we are done with this. We're moving on. He defeated The Miz. Nothing beats seeing Dexter Lumis with a clamp on his head, almost looking like Frankenstein. And he gets the win over The Miz, gets a contract. And now all parties can move on. Gargano can move on. The Miz can move on. And Dexter Lumis can move on. So not sure where they'll go, but hey, they'll all move on. Next up, we had Candice LeRae pick up a good win over Dakota Kai. I'd like to see Candice LeRae pick up some good wins here. She was knocked out for a bit. I think, maybe just trying to get home life all sorted out, mom life sorted out. Maybe they have that all, they did bring their baby on the road. He got a nice picture with Triple H. So there you go. If you type in, Triple H Gargano baby, you'll get a nice little picture of Triple H pointing to baby Quill and a nice little segment there. So that was kind of Raw in a nutshell. Let's kind of move on. NXT, we saw Roxanne Perez defeat Indy Hartwell. We're still kind of digging into, where I don't know where Indy Hartwell's going. Personally, you're bringing, you brought Tegan Nox back. you've already brought Dakota Kai back. You got Io Style in the main roster. I mean, Indy probably needs to be up there as well, and let her kind of see what she could do. I think maybe Raw you could use her. Raw does have a pretty good mix of women, but some newer blood on that side I think would be better. So Dijak picked up a good win. We had it was a Hall of Fame panel. You had Medusa, you had Molly Holly, you had Road Dogg, you had X Pac, all telling their choices. So what we have is 4 set positions for this Iron Survivor Challenge, which is coming up next week on the 10th. That will be for NXT Deadline. Whoever wins that will go on to compete against whoever the champion might be. Probably Braun Breaker. But so we have Carmella Hayes, JD McDonough, Grayson Waller, Joe Gacy, with a 5th spot to be determined by some wild card kind of royal or battle royal thing. And then we also have Roxanne Perez, Cora Jade, Zoe Stark, and Kiana James. You got to think Nikita Lyons is going to get in there on the 5th woman. And, I wouldn't be surprised if she kind of wins it out and, gets the next shot at Mandy Rose. You kind of Alba Fire and Ela Dawn kind of sorted out, so you don't need to worry about them going after her. But, and then, I'd probably give to Carmella Hayes, just let him get a shot. I still think, you probably want to move him up sooner rather than later. And me and Greg kind of disagree on that. Greg says the night after WrestleMania. I almost wonder if maybe a Rumble, debut, and then the night after Rumble, he's there. Kind of let's see what he could do for for WrestleMania season. So Grayson Waller, that's a guy I wonder could benefit from being on the main roster. He's already worked with AJ Styles a little bit. I think maybe working with the Miz, kind of doing that thing. Maybe going on after Johnny Gargano, kind of make up for that. That could be something. So I'd really like to see Grayson Waller move up personally. So Kiana James defeated Fallon Henley. I think the ultimate goal here is probably this is going to be a bar fight, a battle for the bar. And Kiana James will probably take over that bar, and then we'll have some segments. Maybe Fallon will have to run the bar under Kiana James's ruling type deal. So that's kind of where I see that going. Axiom got a good win. He's continuing to show good stuff. I think him and Nathan Frazier ultimately would be a tag team before it's all said and done. Julius Creed defeated JD McDonough. That's a good win for Julius. He's kind of shown me like Dax, Harwood of AEW that, yes, he's a good, awesome tag team guy, but when it comes down to it, singles-wise, he's just as solid, so that's great to see. Von Wagner, whatever. And then Toxic Attraction defeated Nikita Lyons, Kaden Carter, and Katana Chance. Nikita was taken out earlier, so that's why this got bumped up to the main event, which probably made sense. This is the biggest storyline right now going in NXT, so why not make it the main event of NXT this evening? So, and then SmackDown. What a great match between Sami Zayn and Sheamus, with Jey Uso helping out Sami Zayn. People are going with, what is Solo doing? Does Sami Zayn have to prove himself to Solo again now? And I think that's a fine way to go about it and kind of make that, the next focus, and then get everybody on the same page, and then the carpets pull from Sami, maybe at Royal Rumble, maybe close to WrestleMania season, but something's going to happen, maybe Elimination Chamber. Maybe they want Sami to lay down and he does it, and then he gets knocked out that next week. But that especially in Montreal, Sami's hometown, that crowd is going to be amped to the gills for him. That's probably where you want the turn to happen. You want the bloodline really to take him out. Maybe Kevin Owens makes a save there to really get the crowd all behind Sami and Kevin going after the tag team titles, and then winning them on either night 1 or night 2. And ultimately getting the, that feel good moment to wrap up that storyline and see what Sami and Kevin can do for the tag team division as a whole. So Shayna Baszler defeated Emma. The big story here is Emma and Riddick Moss are officially on screen if they weren't before. You had Emma even call him Riddick Moss and, give him a little smooch. So there you go. Shayna was out there, taking out Emma, but Shotzi came out there, Raquel came out there. So it took the 3 of them kind of, taking care of business there. Gunther defeated Kofi Kingston. And we saw that Ricochet defeated Santos Escobar with all Legado gone. I think that was a great move and let Ricochet, Santos Escobar kind of tear the house down. And now we'll see Gunther and Escobar kind of go at it. And I think that's going to be something to watch. Just let them have a good 20 minute main event, on SmackDown as Roman Reigns kind of, sits at home and counts his money, as it were. So, and I brought up Tegan Knox, came back, saved Liv Morgan. I ultimately wonder if we will do, Tegan, Becky, and Liv with Bayley and Damage Control. And I mean, this is what Bayley wanted to do. She wanted to work with these women, and she's getting to. So I think that's awesome. I mean, all these NXT black and gold people are now the veterans on the main roster, which is so crazy to think the journey they've had. And, some of these people are still some of my favorites of all the past, 10, 20 years-ish. So that NXT black and gold really gave us some great, personalities, some great wrestlers. Now we just got to wait and see if Sasha's going to come back. Charlotte, when she comes back, what she ends up doing. So let's take a quick time out here, kind of get Rogue energy for your talk, and then we'll get into AEW and wrap up the show. Kind of a quick and easy show for us tonight as we, move into the December season, which the year-end show I'm really looking forward to, so we can give you all the latest and greatest there. So. All right, some AEW talk. I'm trying to figure out the end game here for Moxley and Hangman. This almost feels like a loser leaves type match. Both guys can't be there, or do you have the Young Bucks finally, get back together with Hangman, make that a full faction, and let them recreate that match. Sorry, that magic they had, but. And then where does Moxley go? Do you maybe finally give him that break? 2 months for the holiday season, whatever time he needs. Maybe show back up a Revolution type deal. I think he's earned it. He's deserved it. Let MJF do what he's doing. Maybe let Hangman be the next guy, after Ricky Starks, sorry. Maybe he is the next guy to go after MJF and kind of, see where he can go with that. But it should be interesting to see, what do they do to kind of tie up this, because I'm not really sure how you tie it up right now. So Bryan Danielson made Dax Harwood tap out. Once again, Dax Harwood showing, he can really carry his own, wrestling-wise. And, him, he started to fake out, and then they embraced. I think they really thanked each other. I think, Danielson got some brought out of him, and Hardwood got something brought on him. So Samoa Joe defeated AR Fox. Really solid outing for TNT champion / TV title champion of ROH. So, and we'll kind of see now Wardlow's coming back after him. The crowd was not into Wardlow at all. So, oh man, I feel bad for Wardlow. He had all the momentum. It's one of these things, do you maybe look at the grass on the other side of the fence and think maybe, I've always thought Wardlow would be that guy, maybe to make that jump. And I'm more and more curious if he does. Kind of restart fresh, get some fresh feet in WWE and see where he goes there. So, and this promo of MJF, knocking out William Regal with the brass ring, having Danielson out there in his, ring gear still, checking on, William Regal speaks volumes, because then you could have Bryan Danielson as a fresh face to kind of go for MJF, even if he doesn't want the title on the line type deal. MJF did bring that up as well. He's going to wrestle when he wants to. He's waiting for the best con to, pay the check, and Triple H was name dropped. I mean, 2024, this next year, kind of interested to see how much does MJF step up his game to really set his name in lights for 2024 and who's going to get him. But, the more I think about it, I mean, he was kind of homegrown talent. If you lose him, that's a pillar you've got gone away. So I think Tony Khan, Nick Khan are going to have some, checkbooks out and ready to write whatever numbers in there. So Ricky Starks defeated Davari. Not much there. We're going to see Ethan Page kind of involved in that as well. But Nightingale defeated Anna Jay, and then of course the Elite got back a win. Sorry, 2-1 now. I think they'll tie up the series, and I think we'll go back and forth. I think ultimately the Elite do get the title, do kind of move on, and we'll see where things go for Death Triangle. I think they need to be the heels ultimately in this. The crowd was more on the Elite side in this match. Chicago was just a random kind of blip in the radar. But and then finally, we had AEW Rampage. All this was live from Indianapolis. I did not get a chance to make it out. I was kind of waiting on meet and greets, and they didn't really have any, so I was kind of surprised that they didn't do that. But Darby Allin got a good win. I can't believe we're talking in 2022 that Jeff Jarrett got a win, but whatever, it is what it is. I'm curious what his role is there, but Athena got a win, and then Orange Cassidy picked up a win. And Orange Cassidy continues to show what he can do with the All-Atlantic title. Still got to wonder if Malachi Black is going to be ultimately the guy that gets that. Maybe Buddy Matthews, he's kind of possibly rumored to be leaving soon. Maybe that's a way to entice him to keep him around. Maybe he gets the title instead. So, and holds it for House of Black. But I think with House of Black just back, I don't think Buddy Matthews leaves anytime soon. You would hope not, but you got to wonder. So, I think that's really all I got tonight. Like I said, I think by myself, just kind of giving the quick and dirty, easy takes on here. Just kind of get in and out and see where things are headed for next week, and we'll give you an update on when talk that all up. And thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and talk to you guys soon.